These 5 things kept me away for 6 years on a 9 to 5. Kept me away from quitting my 9 to 5 for 6 years. And after 6 years, I was able to quit, and I'm so happy about it. And let's dive into the video. If you're coming here for the very first time, this video is this YouTube channel is really about me quitting my 9 to 5 and the experience, unfiltered truth about quitting the 9 to 5, unfiltered. And these are things. Let me dive in. My name is Michael, and you are welcome. And this is the first thing. The first thing that really kept me away from quitting my 9 to 5 was fear. Oh my God. I was so afraid to quit my 9 to 5. I don't know. Every time I thought about it, it just kept hitting me. Like, I was afraid of mostly how am I going to survive, because the cost of living in my country is a bit high. And I was afraid. I was like, hey, what am I going to do when I quit this 9 to 5? How am I going to survive? Yeah. That is one. I was afraid. I was like, how am I going to eat food? How am I going to pay for my rent? How am I going to move? How am I going to get clothes? How am I going to do anything that I wanted? Yeah. That every time I thought about quitting, those thoughts came, to be honest. They kept coming over and over again, over and over again. So Sky, if you quit, I call Michael Sky, yeah? So Sky, if you quit, how are you going to pay for the house that you're in right now? Yeah? How are you going to eat? And every time I thought about that, I went back and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to quit this job. I did not like the job, to be honest. I did not like the job. And I was, because the job, I'll make another video to why I didn't like the job at first, yeah? But every time I used to think about quitting, I'll be like, what am I going to do? Because personally, I have like no dad, no mom. You know how you have like a backup plan, like if everything fails, I'll go to my mom or I'll go to my dad. I'm a grown up, to be honest. And there's even if they were there, I'm 27 years old. Like, I don't know, in my country, to be 27, it's like kind of not good, or it looks weird for you to be staying at your parents' places. And I understand that society and environments change. It might not be the thing with everyone else, yeah. But in my country, being 27 and you're staying at your parents' place is quite not fun. But anyway, that is one thing that kept me. I had the fear of how am I going to survive? How am I going to eat? How am I going to move? Then the other thing that always kept in my mind, if you quit this job, how are you going to be able to, how are you going to get another job? Because here, getting a job is extremely hard. Like, you will find a university student that has studied, let's say, law, and they're doing a different kind of job. Maybe they are selling shoes on the streets and everything like that. I'm not bashing my country or anything, but that is the truth. That's why I told you on this channel, I'm going to be extremely honest with you guys, yeah? So, I was like, how am I going to get a new job, yeah? Because in most cases, what people do is, before you quit your 9 to 5, you have to have a backup plan. You have to have like a job where you interview and you get a job, then you quit this other job. It makes sense that way, yeah? It makes perfect sense. But now, this is a thing. At my workplace where I was working, it was even hard to get an interview because the boss needed you there 24/7. Yeah, you cannot send emails, because my country does not work like that. It doesn't work on emails that I send an email to a company and apply. No, you go to the company itself. If you want a job, let's say a resale job, what is it called? Guys, forgive my English. Forgive my English. But let's say you want to do salesmanship. Yeah, you have to go to that company with your documents in hand, with your CV, with your everything in hand, hand over, they look through, they be like, we shall call you. Now, being that kind of atmosphere and society, it was hard for me to actually move out of my workplace to go and look for another job. You understand? And the other jobs that used to come are me DJing, me doing simple graphics, me playing the instruments like bass. Those ones, of course, used to come and everything. But that thing also kept me like, Now, since I can't get another job, if I quit now, what am I going to do next? Exactly. The third thing is I was scared of what people would say. Like, oh man, like, I don't know why it was in my head like, man, what are people going to say? I don't know why. Because at the end of the day, I've just realized like this year that at the end of the day, what people say really doesn't matter. What really matters is what's on your heart, what you want for yourself and what you want for your life, man. We have only one life to live, yeah? So that thing kept me like, I was like, okay, if I quit, what are people going to say? What am I going to sorry, I was chasing a fly, yeah? I was chasing a fly kept, it was going to go on the camera, it was going to look bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. But anyway, back to the point. I was like, what are people going to say? Because I have people that I'm kind of accountable to, but we didn't make the agreement. You understand? So I was like, hey, what am I going to do if I quit? What are they going to say? What are they going to tell me? Now, this also kept me for years, 6 years, 5 years, because I joined 2019, I quit this year, which is 2025, yeah? So you can do the math. And these are things that actually kept me for that long, to be honest. 6 years or 5 years of my life, I'm afraid, like I have fear of when I quit, what am I going to do? What people are going to say? How am I going to survive? Will I ever get a job, another job like this? So these things kept like boosting me and motivating me to postpone my stay, like to postpone my stay, to be there for long. Yet I did not like the job. I honestly did not like the job because I'm the kind of person who likes, like I'm a big fan of events, music, I like adventure, moving around. If it was a job in line with that, I would have stayed, yeah? But also, I'm the kind of person who does not like so many rules, yeah? Because one of the things that I did like most is there were so many rules. I couldn't grow my hair, I couldn't dress the way I wanted, I couldn't speak at a certain way. Because I think you can tell my kind of speaking is it's not really formal, you understand? And being that I worked in a school, there's a certain way I had to dress, there's a certain way I had to speak, there's a certain way, at time I had to reach, and this was all too much for me. But I was like, you know what, let me bear with this. But if bearing with it really kept me actually going down, like in my skills, music skills, I was dropping, my social skills, I was very into what are those people called? People that are outgoing, yeah? And all these thoughts kept coming and putting me back from what I did this year, which is to quit, yeah? And of course, I'll be making so many videos that tell you how I quit, what I did before quitting. But one thing I can tell you for a fact is I quit without even a backup. Not really, but without a backup plan, like, because I believe a backup plan should be with money. Money is a good thing, because if you have some money saved, you can actually quit. But for me, it was the vice versa. I had no money in my account. That will be for another video, yeah? But the fear kept me on my 9 to 5 for 6 years, 5 years, 2019, you can do the math. I had the fear, what people would say, how will I survive, what job will I get, and if everything fails, what am I going to do? The ultimate question, where am I going to get the money from? Yeah, and after sitting down for quite some time, actually this year, I did a lot of thinking about my 9 to 5, because I reached a point, because I'm a very patient person, I reached a point where I really got frustrated, and I was like, you know what? Why am I here? At the end of the day, why am I here? Actually, there's a certain lady friend of mine that I talked to around July, and I told her, you know what? You know how you meet someone like, hey, hi, how are you, Sky? How are you? What are you doing? When she asked me how are you, I was like, do you want the normal answer that people give, which is I'm fine, or do you want the actual answer of how I am? She was like, you know what? Give me the actual answer. Actually, we were taking a walk around the estates, evening walk. Very beautiful thing to do in the evening. I love walking. Yeah, but I'll tell you a story about walking. When I started hating walking, it's because of my 9 to 5. But I'll tell you. So she was like, give me the actual answer. And I was like, I feel like my life is at a red light. You know how you're driving or riding? I'm a biker. Yeah. My life is at a red light. And she told me, what do you mean? I told her, you know, I've worked for this company for these many years, but I feel like my life is not going anywhere. I'm in the same routine over and over again. Like, get the money, pay rent, eat. You don't even have savings at all. And I was kind of frustrated. And she told me, what are you still doing at a workplace that you don't like? At a workplace where you're not growing, at a workplace where you don't wake up happy to go and work. And she told me, quit. And I told her, you know, quitting is not as easy as you think. And she told me, I understand quitting is not easy, but I personally did it and it wasn't easy. And she also told me, if you do not do it early enough, when will you do it? When you're 40? When you're 20, when you're 30, when you're 50, when you have kids, when you have a wife, when you have a girlfriend, something like that. And of course, this was motivation, but at the same time, the thoughts and fear did not stop. I want to be honest with you. And I understand it's very hard to quit your 9 to 5. Like, we are all in this world and doing different things, but to be honest, guys, quitting a 9 to 5 is not easy. Actually, the battle is more in the mind. Like, really in the mind of, what am I going to do? If you conquer those thoughts, I guarantee you, if you conquer those thoughts, you will be able to quit your 9 to 5. And now, yes, my name is Michael. I told you, here I shall be giving the unfiltered truth about quitting your 9 to 5, how I quit my 9 to 5, what I did to quit my 9 to 5, and everything like that. So, I was watching a YouTube video of starting a YouTube channel because I'm new to YouTube, and someone was saying, do not tell them to subscribe. Don't tell them to subscribe. They will subscribe when they want. Guys, I am going to tell you to subscribe because I need the subscription, because when this channel grows, that is the only way I'm going to survive. Thank you for tuning in. See you there. See you later. Hit the subscribe button and bye.